Hello to my hair team for this year's Fashion Art Toronto virtual runway show. My name is Lisa Tuff. I'm really excited to be here to do this editorial and runway fundamentals class for you guys. I wanted to first start off by saying thank you so much to each and every one of you for committing to be a part of this team this year, for taking the time to creatively add into our Pinterest board, which is our creative melting pot. I feel like it was just such a good way for all of us to sort of put our creative input into one place so that when I'm communicating with the designers, it's really easy for me to have little parts of all of your creative input in there. So I've hand selected each and every one of you guys. I'm really looking forward to working with all of you this year. So I really encourage you guys to take that little ounce of creativity and customization and incorporate that into your tutorials this year, while still following the inspiration photos that you've been given to create your tutorials based on, because those unique individual skills that you guys have, it's what makes you you, and I'm really excited to have each and every one of you put your spin on the looks that we've been given, and I can't wait to see everybody's tutorials. A lot of you guys have seen my previous tutorials in how I articulate and explain things in a really simple way. A lot of the styles that we're going to be doing are actually simple enough that the models are able to do their own hair. So we're not going to be doing anything too crazy when it comes to accessorizing. We're not going to be going over the top with, professional hair tools that the models are going to have to go out and buy. So this is going to be really great for you guys to work on keeping things really simple. It's going to help you to, have experience as an educator. It's going to help you guys to gain trust in your audience and potentially gain new clients. So it's going to be really great to have the fundamental techniques that I'm going to show you guys today as the fluid sort of congruency that we all carry throughout the tutorials for this season, because a lot of the models are actually going to be walking for different shows and they're going to be seeing multiple tutorials. So it's going to be really great to have this as our fundamental structure, as the base of our tutorials, so that we have that fluidity. For a long time, there was always a little bit of a distinct difference between editorial and runway hair. I did New York Fashion Week for about 4 years, doing the spring, summer, and fall winter collections with Ion Studios, and we got to see some really streamlined, simple hair that used to walk the runways, and the whole intention behind that was to show off the clean lines in the wardrobe and to really not take over the actual look of the collection. So the hair was a little bit more simple. And with editorial, we were always able to go a little bit bolder, a little bit bigger, and a little bit more avant-garde. But nowadays, everything is being seen by the camera's eye. With our runway shows, we're actually, everything is being shot with drones and cameras are really uptight into our work. So we want to make sure that these editorial looks and runway looks have just as much precision incorporated. So my intention is to be able to give you guys my knowledge and expertise and help you to create incredible tutorials. And for you guys, the intention behind what we're doing is to be able to create simplicity and explain these looks to the models so that they can feel empowered, that they can feel excited and have something that they're tangibly able to do. All that I really ask is you guys incorporate as much of these techniques into the looks that we're doing. Stay true to the inspiration images that you've been given, because I've taken a lot of time and effort, obviously with our collaborative inspiration board as well. So please, as artists, I know sometimes we like to go wild and do, alternative, do our own thing and do something a little bit out of the ordinary, but I'm just gonna ask that you stay true to the inspiration image. And I really just don't want to see any horizontal bobby pins or any full wet looks unless it's specifically instructed to do so. So I love you guys. I'm super excited to have you all on the team. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to working with you. So we're going to be starting off with the most essential hair prep, which is a wrap blow dry. So this is going to be able to almost prime the hair to give it an even porosity, fill it up with moisture, and just tame the fabric so that we can then move forwards to do any of the editorial looks that we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to be using a curl mousse, and we're going to be basically applying it through the hairline, down through the middle part, and doing a wrap blow dry so that the top half of the hair has a really nice solidity to it, which will give us a nice lasting primer for any of the looks we're doing. And we're going to be doing this on dry hair. So I'm just starting in the hairline here, working down through the part and down through the back middle. You guys are going to be receiving some PDFs with the actual hair kit, with a kit list for when you are on set, so you'll know everything that you're going to need to work with these products. Okay, so I'm just taking a section down through the middle here. And just kind of loosely applying that mousse. You always want to make sure that the models have their hair brushed out nicely first before they start with their wrap blow dry. So we're going to be using our Denman brush. And for the models, like I've explained in a lot of my previous tutorials, we're just going to be following our brush by about 2 inches, following it with the blow dryer, starting around the hairline, working through that middle part on both sides to get the roots dry. And then we're just going to follow through the ends with a round brush. So once you've got that part dry, then I'm actually going to go back through and just heat up where that parting is so that we don't have anything too direct. So you'll notice I'm not elevating the hair a ton. This is literally just to get this nice and smooth back through here, parting through the back middle so that that mousse is dry all the way through. So then what we're going to do is take a round brush with our blow dryer, taking large sections, 0 elevation, and simply just smoothing the ends out a little tiny bit. And even when you're doing your own hair, if you hit little tiny knots, make sure you just take that section really gently and work those out. We want to set a good example for our models to take good care of their hair as well. So as you guys can see, Chloe has the most beautiful hair. It's so smooth already. I don't even really have to do a lot here. But it's going to give you that texture. It's going to give you that little bit of grit that you need to be able to manipulate to go forwards with any sort of teasing, hot tools. If you're using hot tools, just make sure that you're using a thermal spray. For this look, we're not going to be using any, but just, you know, for any of the looks you do, just make sure that people are protecting their hair. So I'm just sectioning the back in half and just doing those last 2 sections with a round brush. So with hair like Chloe's, you don't need a lot of leave-in conditioner, or recommend to the models that if they have really dry ends to incorporate a little bit of leave-in conditioner with this step. The next technique that I want to talk about is called proper isolation. So what we're going to be doing is a beautiful middle part all the way down. Using a metal tail comb, we'll get the cleanest, most crisp section. And it's just the technique that we're going to use by putting a ponytail in the side that we're not working on to get a beautiful isolation of that hair and the setting clips that we're going to use. I'm also going to incorporate, I'm going to send you guys a little video and put it up on my YouTube of how to make these little setting clips that are just going to avoid putting any kinks or dents in the hair that you're going to have to fix later. I always like to get right in front. Okay, so we're drawing a line with that tail comb, and once you've done that first section, just making sure that you're combing the hair back down. All right, so Sammy, I'm gonna get you to start helping me, honey.
Where do you want me to stand?
So just come stand on my right side behind me a little bit. And then I'm just gonna get you to pass me some stuff. So I'm gonna take, these stick. So combing this down nice and smooth. This is the side that we are not gonna work on first, so we wanna make sure we're isolating it properly. So just putting one clip here is not gonna give our models the proper isolation. So we wanna show them that we're gonna use a elastic. So we wanna isolate that section really well, and then we're gonna be putting our setting clips within an inch on our parting to make sure that once the hands are gelled or once we're working on this side, we don't have to worry about anything on our other side. So I'm going to be taking my little homemade setting clips. You could use some smaller ones that don't have duct tape on them if you have them at home, but sorry, Chloe.
It's okay.
Do you mind passing me back my little clip? Thank you. So we're just going to line those up close to the hairline. Thank you, Sammy. Beautiful. So keeping that out of the way, that is what I call a proper isolation. So it just makes sure that your section is out of the way. And then what we're going to be doing is doing what's called directional teasing. And I'm sure there's a lot of this that's going to be really simple and basic for a lot of you guys as advanced stylists, but these are some of the techniques that I really want to see incorporated across the board in the tutorials, just like in my previous one. So it'd be really awesome if we can take these and incorporate them in our videos. So with this directional teasing, we're actually going to be doing a look that has sort of like a horned queen kind of vibe to it. So the sides are going to be really slicked back and you're going to have a little bit of a majestic kind of vibe on top. So we're going to be taking our sections and we want to explain to the models how to tease properly. So the way that I like to explain it, which I've explained in previous videos, is to insert the comb about 3 inches above your section, pushing down, exiting the comb. Inserting, pushing down, exiting the comb. It's as simple as that. And the models, some of them will, just kind of go up and down with the comb, but it's going to be taking the tease out. And then you can take your previous section and just marry 1 or 2 of those together. Thank you, darling. Sammy, do you mind coming to stand over here, actually, babe? You can be my little trolley on this side. So we're going to be teasing down to about the parietal ridge area with this same technique. Okay, so that is our directional teasing. So we're going to move on to the next technique. And so it's actually going to be what I like to call curing the cuticle. And it's a section by section slicking back. So this can be incorporated in some of our slick back buns, a slick back ponytail, anything that you need to slick the hair and have sort of a high shine, tight to the head kind of feel. So I'm going to be using a stronghold gel to do this slick back technique. I'm going to be applying some to my hand here and using three fingers or so just to slick that section right to the scalp. And taking 1-inch sections. I'm actually going to use a different tail comb because I don't want to use my metal tail comb for that. So slicking that right from behind the ear right into your previous section. Okay, so that should be good. I'm just going to have you turn your head back straight for me, darling. Thank you so much. And so this is where our wrap blow dry really comes in handy because we've got a beautiful slick back side already. We've got a really nice straight base. We've got some mousse prepped in that hair already. Slicking that back really nice and smooth. I'm going to use my setting clips to clip just behind the ear here. Thank you, darling. I actually should be okay with, I'm going to do 2 just to be safe. Okay, so I want that to come nice and clean behind the ear. Beautiful. So if we want that to dry really quickly, then we can actually use our blow dryer and just go in with a medium heat, medium setting. So now we're gonna style up the top here. So because this side is properly isolated, it's gonna be great. So we can hold the ends here, combing outwards a little bit. We don't wanna comb out our tees completely. And I'm slowly just gonna be incorporating and leaving this side until the last minute, where once we comb this up, we're gonna marry it in together. And it's not really about how I'm doing this hairstyle, it's just mainly those techniques that we want to incorporate. So once I've got that nice and clean, I'm gonna start to slowly twist my sections in. Okay, so holding that there. I'm actually going to take the little short ones. For this, I'm using a short bobby pin. And just anchoring into this corner. So one of the last finishing techniques, we want to make sure that we have a nice sort of balance in the hair. So if you've got a little bit more height on one side, just making sure that you're a little bit particular. With any good editorial style, you should be able to sort of squish and manipulate with the hair. Chloe, do you mind just turning your head to one side for me? And then making sure that you have a nice sort of even width through the side there. If you need a little bit more width through the back, you can pull that out. So basically one of my favorite finishing techniques is just spraying a makeup brush and just slowly combing those little tiny flyaways back and up. You never want to be finishing with an actual comb, because especially before your model goes on the runway, you don't want to risk pulling a snag and having something that you can't fix in a timely fashion. And then I love this natural finish that we have here, so I'm just going to spray it a little tiny bit, give it a little texture, and we are all good to go.